Alright, so in this video, I'm going to just review magazine layout with you. So one thing I want you to take a look at is the 10 key elements of a magazine, right? So um, if you scroll through, you can see some important aspects of a magazine. So for instance, I was talking earlier about the running head, right? So that would be the information that pulls you into the page, almost like your chapter topic. Then you have your headline, which kind of explains the information on the page. And then you can see other bits of information that are important for this magazine layout or information on this page, such as like the body of information, the introductory paragraph, and you can see what makes this page so engaging is the variation that's going on. If it was just a paragraph of information, it would be very boring and people would be less likely to read it. Where our job as a designer is to make it look interesting and inviting. So this person is using colors like orange to bring your eye through the image onto this beautiful illustration. You can see that they were scaling text and information, so some information is a larger scale than others, as well as font style changes pending the information, right? So you can see that my eye grabs or goes straight to this 31 December Midnight New Year Party. It's very decorative and bold, and the orange kind of brings me there, the orange boxes, which then kind of leads me back to the information here and down into the paragraph of information. So again, like our job is to make it look pretty and direct people to the important information and keep them engaged around the entire page, right? Which I think this is done very successfully. So what I would do is just click on the link that I have shared with you and take a look at the magazine and take a look at some of the terms, and if you scroll down it kind of tells you what each of them is about, right? So for instance, the running head is something that we have to include, so you can see that it tells you a little bit about why it's designed and why you would use it and so forth. So definitely take a look at this, which is right here. The second thing that I went over was just the format of our page, right? So I said that you can copy mine completely, like literally the words, like the running head, the information, the headline, where the pictures go, and so forth, or I'm going to let you be as creative as you want. I'll give you full creative freedom for this assignment. But know that you need to include the running head, some sort of a headline, your picture before, your picture after. There should be some sort of a caption explaining the picture, and then your page number and your magazine title. So you can see here, I placed my template here so you can see the template in comparison to the actual image here, right? So my running head says time to relax. My headline says double take, find the 6 things that make these two pictures different. My caption says Leonardo DiCaprio and The Great Gatsby. And then my page number and magazine are below. You can see that these are examples of student work, copying my running head title, right, along with the headline, but changing the look of it, putting their own take on it and style that fits their image accordingly, right? And same here. So what I suggested to start with was creating just the background shapes and placement. Now it can look just like this, or you could do something totally different. You might say, that's so boring, I'm going to do something else a little bit different, Miss Dauble, and I think that's great. So what you're going to want to do is create a new file. Okay, you're going to make sure that you're in inches. Make sure that your width is 8.5 and your height's 11. So we're working in a portrait orientation, and your resolution is about 120. Okay, when you hit create, you'll open up your new file. You want to open up your rulers. Okay, so Control or Command R will open up rulers, and what you can do is drag guidelines down to create your margins. I did 1/4 inch margin. So you drag and pull, and you can pull these guidelines around. Guidelines are actually invisible. So when you go to print, they will not show up in your artwork. But they're here to help you, to help guide any space that you need, whether it be to align text in some way, which I'll show you eventually, or just to use specifically as a margin, all right, around your entire space, all right. You want to create at least 1/4 inch margin around your space, just to be aware of where text falls. You don't want text to fall in this space or right up to the edge of your page, because then it has the opportunity to be cut off when it goes to print. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you create your file is to create your margins. All right. After you do this, then you can start playing around with different shapes and colors and effects that you would like to include in your space, right? So this is where you can have a little bit more fun. You can try, if you want to try something else besides some of the stuff I showed you before, you can. So now I'm going to layer, style, and some of my effects. I added a drop shadow to this one, right? And then in class today, I also said I was going to create a running head, which is going to go right here. Okay, and you can put polka dots around that one. Oops. And then I also added some layer style effects to this too. I made a drop shadow to keep it consistent with the larger box that I created. And then I also earlier today created a gradient. So I picked one of these gradient presets, and then on the color stops here, I double clicked on it, and it pulls up the color picker. So I'm picking up this color I have. Well, that's pretty. I have here, and I actually kind of like that. Maybe I'll make this a little bit lighter. And I kind of just played around with putting a gradient effect on that. And now I have kind of a basic structure of where my picture is going to go, where my header is going to go. And now I might start thinking about type, right? What font styles I'm going to use. Maybe I'm going to go to 1001 Free Fonts and look up some font styles. So just a few things that you can start thinking about.